Hey kids, welcome to the Capital Life Podcast. I'm your host, Abby Pagud. This is where we talk about all the things that life brings, the good, the bad, and of course, the healthy. Today's episode is called No Such Thing. And we brought an awesome guest back because she's so fun and we can't stop talking. And why wouldn't we? Because she's amazing. It's another episode of Keeping It Real with Real People. And this is our guest, Katy Miller. Welcome back to the show, Katy Miller.
Hello. Thank you for having me. Yeah, it's a good topic for us to call out all the BS on things. I love to do that.
I know. So for those of you guys that didn't catch the last episode that Katy was in, we talked about, all the things. We talked about so many different subjects. I think we went on for a good hour and 15 minutes or something. And there's just so much information, I had so many freaking short clips that were AI generated that were just masterful genius clips. And I was like, holy shit, this is fantastic. We have to do this again. So why not bring you back for the episode called No Such Thing? And here we go. So let's not. It's nothing. It's fine.
This episode of The Capital Life is brought to you by the Amaya team. The Amaya team are not just about mortgages. They're about turning dreams into reality. With their expert guidance, they'll smooth out the process and get you into the dream home faster. No stress, no hassle, just the right funding right when you need it. It's time to turn your dream into an address. Contact the Amaya team today and let's make it happen. The Amaya team, financing homes, realizing dreams, and doing it with style. Did you know that we at Capital Health have been working on an app that's never been created before? And with all the excitement around it, we've decided to give you an opportunity to become a Capital Health founder. Capital Health founders get exclusive perks, including 3 to 6 months of full access of the app, a Capital Health t-shirt, and future founder-only benefits. The app itself is designed to meet you where you are, assessing your needs and creating customized workouts and personalized nutrition tailored specifically to you. In short, it's like having a trainer, nutritionist, and energy coach in your pocket without the massive expense of hiring each one individually. Founder opportunities are limited and only are available before the launch date. So head on over to capitalhealth.com to learn more on how to become a Capital Health founder and achieve your ideal health. Please like, share, and rate us on whatever platform you're listening. It's how we start to really spread the message of good in the world that needs it so much right now. If you find this helpful or insightful, don't forget to connect with us on Facebook and YouTube at Capital Health. That's KAPITOL Health. Also, visit us at capitalhealth.com and subscribe to our newsletter and get wicked awesome updates.
One of the things I don't know if you've noticed is we have this massive uptick in coaches. Okay. There's a massive uptick in coaches. Some of them have just gotten started like yesterday. Right. Mm-hmm. And, you and I have been in the field for a really long time. We have a lot of experience. We put method into our madness. But at the same time, not everybody's the right fit. Right. There's, it's almost like it's no different. Like if you're having a business coach, if you're having a team, if you're a team athlete, whatever, you have to have the players have to be simpatico. You have to have the coach that has the proper guidance. There's all this alignment that needs to happen. And I recently had just signed up for a business coach and I love her. She's fantastic. I hate her numerous times, probably because she helps me grow on another level. I tell her that regularly, she'll tell me something in the nice, softest way, but I heard what it was and it was brutal. And so then I will be like, okay, you just ripped me a new one. Thank you so much have a great day. And then she will be like, right. I'm so sorry. And I was like, no, I heard you. It worked. It was fast.
Yeah, this is why I hired you. This is why I hired you, right?
And I'm just teasing her because her delivery really is she's very respectable. She's very soft in her delivery. She's always inviting you to the conversation, which I love because she honors individual choice. And there's that kind of things. But that's not always how it does. That's not how it works. You have a story about your experience of signing up for, was it business coaching?
Yeah, it was business coaching. It was for, at the time, I was moving on or adding another social media platform because I was doing really well on Instagram. I had reels go viral, like my account had grown a ton. And I was like, well, let me go into this other space. Let me try like TikTok, which I love to consume, but I do not love to be on.
Okay.
But it was also at the time for me, like I take accountability for my part in this story too. Like, because I was at the time where I wasn't sure how to merge the social media side of my business and the course side of my business. Like it did not make sense in my brain how they could go together. So I kept them very separate. Didn't talk a lot about the course part. And so I had all of my social media strategy content was on Instagram and all of my course content was on TikTok. Ouch. So it was a lot of content. So that was my part of it, like holy content Batman, because that was too much. And I think part of what drew me into the program was a lot of what we see now where people talk about how much they make. They talk about like, oh, I had it, you could have a 20K month if you just do
XYZ.
Yeah, exactly. Which is complete bullshit, but it's not going to happen that way. It's like people saying that they had a $15,000 course launch on their first course launch. And I'm like, did you though?
Did you?
Like,
yeah. Well, and it's like, it's kind of the same thing where there's a difference. Like, okay, when they say like in small businesses, like the hardest goal to hit first is the 100,000 mark, right? And then go on and so forth. Well, then my question is, okay, you may have hit the 100,000 mark, but how much did you pay yourself?
Exactly.
So to me, when I'm sitting there, you can make 25,000 from blah, 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 blah. My first thought is, was I paying myself the 25 grand or did it go out it came in and went out?
Yeah. Or who did you pay along the way to help you? Cause like, is that how much you brought in or is that how much you took home? Like, that's what I want to know, the difference between like profit, growth, what is it? Gross, net? I don't know, whatever they are. But the
profit and loss or
like,
I want to know. My husband's the one that knows P&L sheets and all that stuff. I do not.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny when he asked me, he's like, how do you not know what a P&L sheet is? How do you not run a company on a P&L sheet? I'm like, I don't know. I'm hitting 10 years this year. Woohoo. It's fine.
I actually just had that moment as I was starting to do my like upload stuff for taxes. And I was like, what is that? Like, should I know what that is?
I probably should have someone implement that into my system because I'm sure I'd be more productive. And I think he's right. And I think he definitely has that business acumen, but it's like, I haven't needed to be there yet. And now with the company growing in a different direction, it's like, oh, I actually might need to start.
Well, and that was really like, to go back to that coaching program, like that was really what I was trying to explore. Like, yes, I wanted to make a shit ton of money. I still want to make a shit ton of money. And at the time I was like, let me grow this while I've got this and I can do these two things. And that's not too much, right? To like help people with their social media, but then also produce double the content for my own business. And like I was pulled in by you can make so much money doing this if you get in at this time on TikTok. And I was like, okay,
sure.
I don't mind doing videos. Like, let's see what it's all about. But the tricky part for me is it's like, that's why I think it's such BS when people promise these things, because one, you can't do that. Like you don't know my business. You don't know my lifestyle. You can't say that I'm going to work the same amount of hours as you, or that it's going to have the same result as somebody else that you may have worked with in the same industry. And the trick for me was like, I also had a lot of social media knowledge. So I knew how things worked. And I was like, none of this. And like you said, your business coach that you sometimes hate, I think a good coach is exactly that. They're going to push you in the kindest, most loving way.
Not hitting the pain points to making you feel guilty and grief stricken, right? Like, I don't like how promotional content or promotional growth steps, marketing goes after the pain point to sway people in. right? Like that's where they start to go in. And when they do that, they're actually starting it from a negative perspective. And if you're going to do that, you have to come say hello to the audience.
Like, what's coming next? Are we going to do like a little dance?
SpongeBob Square Dance.
SpongeBob Square Dance. Okay, there you go. With his emotional support dog in the background, who is the best dog in the world and the best addition that we've had. He's everyone's emotional support animal.
That's amazing. That's all mine are.
Yeah. Well, so the fun thing when it comes down to, here we have these business coaches that come in and they start telling us, they go after that pain point to get the sale. And the thing is it creates that negative, that doubt, that frustration, all of the different things that are created with those pains. And it's like, it might have encouraged the person to do the sale, to seek the change. But the bad part of it is it's not fixing or healing that emotion.
Exactly.
It's not alleviating, just because and I get it. Like, you might succeed and get somewhere and you conquered and you are getting to a better place, and that's fabulous. But at the end of the day, you still have that internal emotion, that struggle, that pain that's still existent, period, until you actually dive in, release, figure out where it's stemming from. Usually a lot of times those emotions are created in your earlier years, to where you bought that story, and then you doing some shadow work, trying to clear it, get it out of your system, and releasing it so that it no longer hinders your decision making in the future.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, like, I say this to my clients all the time too. I'm like, look, this is the part that we don't talk about. I've had clients that are like, why do I feel like I want to cry right now? I'm like, because the mindset piece is not the part that people talk about when it comes to, like, in my business. Like, we're not talking about that with social media clients who want to understand strategy. Like, they don't think we're talking about mindset and how you need to go into it, and like all the comparison stuff, or courses, when people are like, why should I create that? And we talk about the mindset piece of it all the time. And I think that's the part I think that distinguishes the people who decided they wanted to be coaches yesterday, which I love, great for them. But there's a difference in having with the experience. And with the experience, you can take that time for your clients and give them that space to process these things and be able to help them work through it, versus like, oh, I don't know how to help you with that, but here's what you're going to do here's the task you're going to complete.
There's a big difference too, because, it's like, I love when people want to coach and do things for other people to help change the world and get to the next place. I think it's beautiful. I think, it shows their compassion. It shows where their heart is. It shows where their intent and where they want to go. It's the identifying that, starting it. I mean, I understand. I get when you first jump into your career. I remember the first client that I had. And I still work with the family actually, but like, in your mind, you set yourself up for that, like, oh my God, they signed up with me, I hope they stay, or why did they sign up with me?
Are they going to pay me that much? Yeah. Like, should I charge that much? Like, there's all that.
Right. But so like, everyone has to start somewhere. I love that. I respect that. I honor that, on top of the fact that I love that we all don't necessarily match to everybody. Like, I can't feel every person on the world. You're not going to get every person in the world. It's like, we align we're who we need to be for the person that we're going to have connections with in the future and where they're going, right? We are playing the role that they need in their life. Even the asshole cretins of the world, right? Even the family members that drive us crazy, that we can't understand why that person exists. Those people have a purpose. They are playing that role in your life to get you out and identify, oh, I don't want to be like that.
Right. Exactly. You're like, oh, I don't want to be like that. Well, and that was very, like, what I learned from that program. Because for me, it was really hard to eat the investment, because it was not a small investment. And I was like, oh crap, I'm leaving early. But at the same time, I was like, I can't do, like, mentally, I cannot do this. I am going to, and I burned out like right after that. I think that was the second round of burnout that I experienced.
Okay.
And I realized, I was like, that was too much. That was way too much. But I also had other people in my life that were like, well, why would you just waste that money?
Well, see, but that's the thing, is that it's an investment in a learned opportunity, right? So it's like you learned a certain type of person that may or may not have been in alignment with you for you to work with. So that allows you to at least identify that for future selections and growth going forward with your company, and who you work with and who you align with. Second of all, it also teaches you, okay, certain methods work for some people, but I now for a fact that's not going to work. Now, you might keep some of the information to which you learned, so that maybe in 10 or 15 years it might apply for someone that works for you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. Like it's not that it's got wasted. It's this that it may not have been in your time in alignment now, but at the same time, it's just, my question really is like, is there signs or any of your intuition that showed up during the process that could have helped you identify the misalignment prior?
Not right away, because there was initially I thought it was a match, and like I had done a call, I had seen the person speak and like do a class, and I was like, oh, I like what she has to say, like let me go check it out. And so I did at the beginning. It was as the program went on, and as we dove into the content, and it was like, here's the things that I want you to create based on whatever's happening on social media. And I was like, okay, but where's the me part of that? And that's where it started to be different, because it was like, okay, was this just like a system that was spit out like without any consideration for what my business or the way that I do content? And then part of what we did, which this was the real part that was like a red flag for me, where I was like, nope, that does not work for me. We would share our videos that we had done for that week and then critique them like as a group. And that's not a great moment for me. It brought up a lot of things, and I was like, I don't like this.
That's almost too borderline with dealing with identity and self-worth and getting more into, so our ego affects profoundly how we view ourselves, right? I mean, especially when it comes to, your higher self and your ego, and where the opinionations are, how we're supposed to do, our self-worth is always combating, like our value to other people, judgments, things of that nature. My husband had brought up a picture that we had saw posted of a family member the other day, and I wasn't happy with it. And I wasn't happy with it, not because I didn't think it was courageous. And my husband thought it's exuding confidence, like it's hitting a confidence within this person. And I said, yes, I do understand that, but it's skipping it's feeding the ego, and it's not addressing some of the self-worth issues from within. It's delaying some of that fact, because sometimes when you put yourself out there publicly, and, some people are going to listen to you speak and they're going to love what you have to say. And other times they're going to hate what you have to say. Right. But the messaging was there. It was like, you needed to be who you were supposed to be in that exact moment. And the people that heard what was necessary to hear. Now you could take the same sentence or the same messaging and deliver it to the same individual. Years later, they'll get a totally different perspective. They'll get a totally different input. That's why it's nice to read books over again. Yes. It's nice to save podcasts and listen to them over again.
Exactly. We've got to go back to it. Well, and that was really like,
people, re-listen.
Listen again. You need to listen to both of our podcasts multiple times.
We got to do some subliminal messaging here.
Right.
Like download,
we should do like ASMR on the microphones. Like, you're going to listen to Katy Calls BS, and you're going to listen to Abby's podcast as well. What are we on? Capital Health.
Whatever the hell my thing's called, it's fine.
Like, whatever. What's your name? What's the name of the show? But that time during that program, like it was, like I said, I had gone viral multiple times. So I was pretty confident in what my brand was.
Right.
And it was like, I felt like all the work that I had done up until that point to be confident in who I was and confident in what my brand was, had a strong brand voice. Felt really good about it. I had seen success with it. And then it was a whole bunch of people telling me that now my brand voice was wrong. And I was like, wait, what? I was like, hold on. No, that's not how I operate. I'm not someone, I will give people, and I think this goes back to the coaching thing too. Like, you can take your process and give it to someone or help someone through your process, but there are so many individual things that pop up during that where you are then going to address it. Not every client goes through the same thing. Not every client comes to you with the same thing. There might be similar. It doesn't mean your process that you go through, like, okay, we start here, then we go here, and then we go here, is different, but like where they are in the process is different, and you have to address that. So I think there's a way, like pushing your process onto someone versus taking your process and applying it to someone.
Correct.
Did you know that we at Capital Health have been working on an app that's never been created before? And with all the excitement around it, we've decided to give you an opportunity to become a Capital Health founder. Capital Health founders get exclusive perks, including 3 to 6 months of full access of the app, a Capital Health t-shirt, and future founder-only benefits. The app itself is designed to meet you where you are, assessing your needs and creating customized workouts and personalized nutrition tailored specifically to you. In short, it's like having a trainer, nutritionist, and energy coach in your pocket without the massive expense of hiring each one individually. Founder opportunities are limited and only are available before the launch date. So head on over to capitalhealth.com to learn more on how to become a Capital Health founder and achieve your ideal health.
And so and I know for a fact, with my programs online, I make up my own names. I make up words. It's just part of my character, right? I guarantee that my programs would be way more popular if they actually made sense in the title, right? But I don't do that. It's not who I am. And I kind of like it that way. The only problem is that, someone could, audit my business, and you could come in and audit my business and be like, hey, you might need to change this up a little bit. Where I would say, well, I really like the names, but how else can we keep the name, but then somehow get the message out there that it does knee rehabilitation? So, it's like my mom was, someone was actually expressing that my mom needed to do some vertigo issues just recently. And it was funny because I was like, oh, I already have those vertigo problems. And my mom looked at me and said, yeah, what's the name of that program? Because I don't remember what it was. A funny little name. And I think it made sense. And I go, Mom, it's called Listen Up. And she's like, what? And she's like, I wouldn't put vertigo. I was like, why? Because vertigo's got an inner ear issue. So listen up. Sure.
I love it.
So, all of it makes sense. But if you were online, unless you read the fine print, you're not going to understand what it does. Is this a bad idea for business? Most likely. Will I learn my lesson at some point? I have no idea. But at the same time, it's kind of it's just like the delivery. It's like, my husband designed my logo. He designed my logo. I love my logo. People don't understand it, but then as soon as they actually start seeing it, and then they're like, okay, so here's a K, here's an H, here's a trifecta in the middle. Okay, when you know the subliminal messages of here's exercise, nutrition, and mind-body connection, all have to work together cohesively to create unity. Then when you flip it on its side, it looks kind of like a health tree. So all has to be aligned to grow. There's so much subliminal messaging in the delivery of it that it's kind of genius in its own. And so therefore it's like, there was a guy that I had met in marketing, and there was a young, she's like maybe 5 or 6 years younger than I, and her husband and her had started a business. And I was super impressed. Hey, that's ambitious. Good for you guys. They were going to town through the chamber. They were doing all the right moves to get themselves up and going. And this guy, an old school marketing dude in the area, just came up and told him that their company was the wrong name because why would you name it that? Why would you name it that? That makes me think of XYZ instead of what you guys actually do. It was their last name.
Right.
It was your last name. Like,
there's nothing. That stuff drives me nuts when people say things like that, because I'm like, there's a reason behind it. You're
mocking or tearing down their creativity. And so that's part of the thing is like, it may not make sense for you, but there's a purpose. If you can fine tune yourself to mold for the individual and what they're needing, because, sometimes it's true. A lot of people think they know what their problem is. And I will just kindly say, well, why don't we have the discussion? Like, why don't we sit down and talk about it? And I'll let you know if you're right. We'll have that discussion and it's like some things, they clearly identified, but they don't know how to implement the change. Right. Or it's actually, that wasn't as big of a problem as you thought it was. This is actually the big reason why that's not working. And sometimes it's having those specific conversations so that we can look at it from a different point. And especially when it comes into business, I hate the phrase when they say it's just business, it's not personal. Fuck you. That is not true. That is somebody's work ethic. Yeah.
It's absolutely, especially as an entrepreneur, like it's absolutely personal. Like, you're putting your thing out there, the skill that you have and the experience that you have out there into the world. That's 100% personal. And I think I see a difference in people who have a different approach to things too. And like you said, that different perspective there. And in this program, it was she had a corporate background, which I 100% respect, but it was just a very different way than how I approached things. Cause my brain is like, let's do it. Let's try this. Like, I don't know. We'll see if that works. Like, let's just dive in and try.
Figure it out when we get there.
Yeah, like maybe this will work. Like, is it fun? I don't want to be miserable, because none of us started businesses to be miserable either.
Right.
And I think her approach was very like, you need to do this, and then you need to do this, and then you need to do this, and now it's this, and this, and this, and you're not doing it right.
But that's what part of the problem is. When you stick too much to the program to which you were taught, you lose the personalization for the individual, for whatever it is that you're working with. And the thing is like, you're supposed to use these things as a guide. It's like square one setup. Okay, I'm going to deal with 101 basics as a guide. And then as soon as I see, oh crap, there's a big hole right there, we're going to zoom in on the hole temporarily. So we're going to leave 101s alone. We're going to zoom into that one major problem. Once that one major problem's resolved and we fix that hole, then we're going to zoom out and go back to 101s again, and then look for another gap. And it's like, that is a skill set that takes, sometimes I personally think it's just a skill set that individuals do or don't have.
I agree.
Sometimes, there are some good coaches and they're good guides, but sometimes the impact to which they make is not, I'm a hard nut to crack. Let's just put it that way.
I'm really skeptical about a lot of things too. Like, I go in pretty cautiously about most things. I was a late adopter to social media because I was like, no, that's not going to do anything for me.
I'm late to everything trendy.
Well, and when I go into a coaching program,
to pay for things, it's still not there yet.
Well, it's not there everywhere. And so it's very confusing because you're like, does it work?
I don't even try.
When I go to Kroger now, I tap the card and then it says something in Spanish to me. And I'm like, I don't know what just happened. Like, I'm doing is trying to pay for my groceries. That's all I want to do.
No such thing. No tapping. No tapping. No tapping. No such thing. No. And actually, oh God, you would have loved this. We were at the H Mart, which is the Plano Asian market, which is one of our best places because, my husband and our Polynesian culture background, we love all Asian infusion foods. We cook like that. We can't always do it because of food sensitivities at certain restaurants or whatever. So we try to do a lot of home-based versions. And I got in a line that was a no tapping line, or it was a tap only. It was a tap only line. Okay. Right. I don't tap. So I don't tap. So I like in my card.
We don't
My
tap
bank is a
around here.
local bank that doesn't have a tap feature yet. They haven't updated our cards to have the tap feature. And all I had was business cards from the same bank and personal cards from the same bank. And so here I pull up and I'm like, she's checking me out and I look at the machine and it says no tap. I was like, it'll be fine because she could just override it and just swipe my card in the thing. No, that did not happen. Apparently, they did not teach any of the employees how to do that, like at all. And so she just said, no tap, like, and she just kept saying to me, and I was like, yeah, mine, no, it doesn't tap over and over again. She's just like, oh, and then she grabs it and then she like slams it on the machine. And then she's like, this 60 times. And I'm like, no, it doesn't tap. Like it doesn't have a picture with the tappy thing on it. Like there's no tap. And she just looked at me. She's like, oh. And then she grabs the lady next to her and she comes over and she goes like, all in like important panic of like, oh my gosh, business will run down if we do not keep up with speed. And then she's like, she's trying to do it. And she's repeating the same behavior as the other one. And then they print out a receipt. They send us to customer service. We go to customer service. They can't read the number on the receipt.
Oh gosh. That's like never ending.
Oh, it's the best.
I'm just trying to pay.
I just want to give you money. It's all I want to do right now and leave. And then it turned into this whole debacle, which then made me be like, crap, this might turn the tapping situation over. And then I'm like, no, it's not a thing. We're fine. No such thing. We're still not tapping.
It's just there. It's fine. It's totally fine. Well, and it's totally true though. It's like the behaviors of like, well, no, you didn't do it. Let me try it. I'll do it. I'll tap it and try.
Where's the trust?
Let me see what's going to work.
Well, see, my question is, if you go into things as like quite a skeptic, when did that start? What created you to be skeptical and untrustworthy with people?
Well, that's a deeper issue. No, I think as the youngest of 4 kids, I think I was brought along. You were set up
all the time. That's why you were the youngest of 4 kids. You were the setup kid. No wonder you don't trust anybody.
See? Exactly. My brother would be like, stand up. And I'd be like, why? Okay, now that you're up, go change the channel. Yes, we're that old. Go change the channel on the TV. And I'd be like, and I hated it. So I think that's probably a large part of why I'm skeptical is that's like, no, I had to do stuff for my siblings. And it's just like, now I'm like, why? Like, I want to know more.
And that's because by the time the 3rd came around, they got trained into, hey, we're not sure we really wanted the 3rd one, but at least now we got somebody to like get to do things for us. Let's do a practice drill on how to do that. And so then the number 3 was the practice. And then you came along and then all 3 of them were on it. And so then there you go. Done.
Yep. And
that makes perfect sense.
Right. And my mom was like, yeah, you never took a nap at home. Like we were always in the car. And I was like, cool. I love that for me. And I feel that for my youngest too. I mean, I have 2, but the youngest is like, well, brother never comes to my games. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Cause he has his, and then he gets mad cause he always did it. But yeah, totally. It's probably that exact thing and aware of that. It's like, I like to know what's happening too. Like, I want to be aware of all the parts most of the time. It's funny cause it's only in certain things. And I think there was a lot of people that doubted my decisions along the way too, which plays into it. And now that I'm aware of it, it's different and not married to it anymore. But they're like, the doubt of
loss. It's good.
Yeah, it's fine. And talk like that influence of what are you doing? Like, why would this be a thing that's useful? And then doubt, then it brought in like even more self-doubt than the caution that I had going into it.
Which plays into the fact that just because you can't see the clear picture does not mean there's not purpose and need.
Exactly.
Right. And that, I mean, so many people, they can see things differently. Like, so I was telling this story earlier today, actually, because I just thought it was hilarious, but also I was really kind of proud that my kid's intuition totally starting to click in, even though he's more of a physical being. Like he's like he needs to see, he needs to feel, he needs to grab. Like that's his thing. But his intuition's always spot on. But it was too funny because he was at soccer last week, and then he got it in his head on Friday, and he said, "Mom, for my game, it's like we need to bring the paper towels. We need to bring the Band-Aids. We need to bring a plastic bag because I learned how to clear the ball at practice. And, you know, when you clear the ball, you can actually accidentally like hit somebody in the face." And he's like, "I want to make sure that we have paper towels for the blood and then like a plastic bag, because if I loosen their tooth and they lose their tooth and they don't lose it for the tooth fairy." And like, yeah, so like he's plotting destroying people while it's okay, I've got a caretaker's bag. Like,
that feels normal. So, like, that's the boys. Right. So, like, I feel like too, like my boys are like the most empathetic kids, but also that they're like, but I can also like karate chop your face, and I'm like, cool, okay,
completely. And he takes a kid out in a game, and then 2 seconds later, he's making like crawly dinosaur things at them, and then they look at him like, "What the hell's wrong with you? I'm not on your team." And he's just like, "It's a friend." But like, so he's
I was trying to make you feel better. I'm sorry.
Yes, like we're fine. This is just a game. It's not a big deal. So like so that's his approach in life, which I love, because there's this carefreeness to it, and this happiness that goes along with it. And so sure enough, we pack the bag. Like I come home from work on a Saturday. Oh, get out of the screen. Like, again.
That's amazing.
Go away.
You're talking about me.
I know. Like, dude, this is the second time you come in without a shirt on. So we will edit that one out.
Did you know that we at Capital Health have been working on an app that's never been created before? And with all the excitement around it, we've decided to give you an opportunity to become a Capital Health founder. Capital Health founders get exclusive perks, including 3 to 6 months of full access of the app, a Capital Health t-shirt, and future founder-only benefits. The app itself is designed to meet you where you are, assessing your needs and creating customized workouts and personalized nutrition tailored specifically to you. In short, it's like having a trainer, nutritionist, and energy coach in your pocket without the massive expense of hiring each one individually. Founder opportunities are limited and only are available before the launch date. So head on over to capitalhealth.com to learn more on how to become a Capital Health founder and achieve your ideal health.
So anyway, so I come home on Saturday and I end up walking in the door, grab the soccer tote bag, and sure enough, he has wadded up paper towels. He's already stashed a container of Band-Aids and Benadryl. I'm not sure if the Benadryl got in there, but it did.
And there's a bee sting and someone's allergic.
Yes, right, exactly. Like we're prepared. And we also have, the plastic bag, like all the things. And so I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, so he took over my tote bag, but okay, that's great. He put all those things in there. Get to the soccer game. Jump into the first quarter. He played in the second quarter, jumps in the second quarter. Sure enough, watching, all of a sudden, kid kicks the ball right smack dab in front of his face. So here, his intuition, spot on. There's going to be a ball to the face, no question. It's going to hit somebody's face, like square on. Now it hit his eye, not his mouth. So that was good.
That's good.
And I mean, he took it like a pro. If anything, the coaches and the ref are trying to stop the game. And he's like, no, I'm fine. Let's just keep going. And then, and they're like, no, are you sure? And I'm the mom from the crowd saying, come on, keep it going, coach. We're done. Like,
that would be me. Except I had a different experience at our soccer game on Saturday. I walked up and I was like, he's not right today.
Yeah.
I was like, that was my intuition. And sure enough, he was sick and like just went back to school today. So yeah, but that's funny that you mentioned like how physical, because that's how I feel like I was in high school. I think I wrote an email to my list that was like, I took a Shakespeare class in high school because I went to it was like a little bit of a hippie school. It's fine. We'll talk about that later. But it was, we had a Shakespeare class, and I actually fun side note, I actually went to Shakespeare camp multiple summers and then ended up being one of the counselors and like the lead counselor. We dressed up, we did a whole thing. We did scenes from different Shakespearean plays.
Oh,
Anyways,
wow.
In Shakespeare class, I was like, I thought I was ready to roll because I had all this experience. And the teacher was asking something, and I was like, well, it says it's a tree. It's a tree. Like, that's what it is. Why? Like,
I'm taking it literally.
What the hell is meaning behind it? So like, and that's very much how I am now. I'm like, no, if it's not like, it's there. This is what it is. I'm not trying to hide anything from people. And I think that's also what irks me about a lot of online business too, is I'm like, why are you being shady about it? Like, what's the point? Why do you need to, or why are you trying to say that to like that pain point thing? Like, why are you trying to draw people in that way? Like, I don't like it.
Or why is there the same delivery system in speakers? Like, it's like here, it's like, here's like, oh, you want to be a speaker, I'm going to teach you class. Now, for a lot of people, I get it. Like that's not a natural thing to them, but at the same time, it's like when I get up and speak and have a moment, like my daughter has been pointing out to me that when I speak, she hears everything. Like she hears it and it comes through, but she says it's so weird. There's like, she says it's almost hypnotic. So she says, I sit there and I talk and I say something and she almost becomes hypnotized as she can, like she's aware the sound's coming in, it all comes in and she understands everything that was said, but like she's almost in this weird hypnotic state to which she's like completely unaware what's happening. Yeah. Like it's just the information's coming in to where it needs to be. And when she pointed that out to me and she's like, do you think that might be like one of your abilities is like, and then as soon as she said it, I started reflecting back to when I'm making profound statements, when I've done speeches, I've messed up on my endings on speeches because everyone's staring at me in the hypnotic trance, shaking their head, kind of like the cobra that's always like this, you're like, yeah. Right? And so, and they're looking at, yes, exactly. And they're like, whoa, I could just watch you. And I always get the response, like, I could watch you all day. And I get that comment a lot. And then I mess up my ending. Like I say my ending, but I didn't then no one got the power punch of the ending. And it was like, oh man, okay, but I'm done, guys. We're done. So now I'm aware of that. So I'm going to have to work on my exits because like, how do I wake them back into reality? Right. And so that they know I'm done talking. And so, but at the same time, it's like some of the business coaching on, hey, we're going to teach you how to speak or teach you how to do these things. And I'm like, one of the reasons I'm a good speaker is because I do it differently. I show and express who I am. People see who I am. I share the stories because I'm an open book and I believe in sharing life and experiences makes it better for us. I never intend to offend. Some people have an opinion of oversharing. Well, oversharing is an uncomfortability. That's an uncomfortability from within because you bought a story of there's certain things in standards to which you're living by. Well, guess what? I don't believe those same standards, so we're fine.
Right. So, we're good. But that's what I think is like, that's what I love though. Like I would rather find someone or listen to someone who is truly being how they normally are. Like their
authentic self.
Yeah, 100%. And I was like, if you see me on my social media and then you meet me in real life, it's the same person. There should not be a difference. And people are like, oh my gosh, you're the same as you are online. I'm like, yeah, no shit. Of course I am. I don't want to be a fake person. I don't have time for that. And I don't want to interact with that. Like, I don't want it to be some facade of like, oh, maybe you look like this great person. Or the first time, like the coach that I worked with, like the first time I saw her, I was like, oh my gosh, you're totally my kind of people. And then the second time I was like, I don't know, like something's off about this time. And then as we went further in, I was like, yeah, I don't think you're my people. Like there was no room for like being myself. I think it was the problem. So I think that there's not magic system. There's not a magic pill. It's all in like navigating it how you need to navigate it. And there's so many factors that come into that.
Well, and sometimes it also has to do with like the phase that you are within your life.
Yeah.
You know, like we outgrow people, right?
Mhm.
And that's weird. I mean, some people are with us through the whole ride, you know, and then some people aren't. And some of that is very beneficial to, you know, getting us to where we need to be, right?
Mhm.
So, you know, it's like I was talking to one of my clients and I mentioned how, you know, the relationship with their mother, you know, it was not like the healthiest of
Mhm.
patterns, right? But at the same time, she played the role
Yep.
that was necessary for her to get to identify what she was willing to accept in her life and the things that she wasn't. And it also was the motivation factor that she needed to break ancestral patterns.
Yep.
So in that regard, there was honor to the relationship, regardless of how messed up or deranged it was. There's honor in that it served its purpose to get her where she needed to be. And so, you know, it doesn't say you have to go thank her for being a douche canoe, but like it's saying,
Oh,
hey,
one of my
you know,
favorite phrases, by the way.
Exactly.
Douche canoe is one of my top phrases.
Is it really? How
Yes,
funny.
I love it. Well,
Oh,
I say that it's like the same lesson you tell your kids, right? Like I tell my kids when they have problems with friends, I'm like, you know, some friends are for a reason and some friends are for a season. And then I tell them my experiences too, you know, like there are people that you thought were going to be in your life forever and then something happens and they're not. And that's a really hard thing to go through. It's like there's a lot of that as you navigate. And I think as they can navigate it younger and understand what's happening, then it's going to help them long term. But they've
that
had
only
those
happens when people are open and have conversations.
exactly.
And if they think that they're always oversharing all the time, or this isn't the time and place to have that kind of, when is the right time? When is the right time to address some of the issues? Because, you know, the only reason why it came up in the first place was because it became an issue. And so therefore it had to be addressed.
Yeah.
There isn't really perfect timing on any situation, right?
I mean,
except for
I didn't see my life being where it is now. Never, ever. I didn't think I would be a divorced single mom of 2 boys. Never did I ever. And at this point, like, though I can see now the patterns of like what I was going through and why and how I got to where I was like, no, I'm done.
But it's part of your awakening path, right? It's like everything, all of these moments in life are these experiences that help wake us up and get us closer to the purpose and where we're supposed to be. And, you know, it's kind of like, you know, if maybe divorce and maybe, you know, single motherhood didn't have such a daunting, you know, existence in society, maybe that wouldn't be looked at as like of a failure or whatever the hell people say when they go through it. It's like, no, I kind of like, you just lost 200 pounds. Good for you.
You did actually say that to me. You were like, oh, congratulations on losing 200 pounds. I was like, thank you.
Right, because and I'm not saying that as we all need to get divorced from our husband. But anyway, shape or form.
It was the situation. It's like, yeah, well, that in that moment, and I think too, like you can also tell, like when someone is feeling like it's a failure, then they might not see like they might not hear congratulations on losing 200 pounds in the same way where I was like, thanks, like I feel great.
Absolutely. No, but that's the thing. It's a purging. It's a purging of your time. And the thing is like who you were when you went into the marriage is not who you are today. It's not even close. No. And the fact is that society teaches us that change is bad or change is terrible or all of these different aspects that come through. And the fact is our cells are always evolving. We're always in a constant state of change. So why don't we start normalizing change? So then it doesn't feel intimidating. It doesn't feel judgmental. It doesn't have the opinionation and the ego issues that is tied to it. We start looking at change as possibility and expansion and evolvement. And then that actually is where we need to focus on. Like in a marriage, it's about growing with each other. And when you don't take those steps to grow with each other, and adjust and accommodate for when the person's going through certain things, especially, I mean, even with me and my husband, we could go through years of really great moments and great years, and then we'll have a year that is a little bit rocky and whatever. Well, it was an opportunity for us. Like, I got to a very safe, comfortable place that my body had to release a lot of my traumas of the past from which I was born into. And it was me, he allowed me the time to go through a lot of that self-discovery, to the point where I'm catapulting and evolving in so many different ways, not just in career, but mindset and where I want to go and see the vision. And he's like, whoa, what's what's happening, right? That's only done with a strong man that anchors and sets you down, right? But then from my growth points, then everything goes a couple years where it's like, okay, this is fun. Let's play with this, Guess what? Now he's in a safe place to go through his trauma and go through his exposure and having his past and having the opportunity to rid himself of those things. So it's like, and so therefore there are times where I have to remember to allow him the space to process. And and because I'm the person that wants to talk it through, I'm a very, very quick processor. Like, something could be said, I can identify where it affected me, almost go in, clear that up in my past, and then go back to it and be like, oh, okay, we're good. Like, we're fine. Yeah. And then my husband will look at me and be like, I can't just change overnight. Like, this happened yesterday. I'm still upset. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. But I'm not going to treat you any differently because I still love you. Like, I understand you're in a bad mood. That's totally fine. I'll let you stay in your bad mood. Let me know when you're done. Love you.
Right. But it's like that mutual respect too, of like, okay, well, you've got to go do your thing. And I understand where you are right now. And it's that. And I think that I know for me, it was when I was doing way too much content. It was like, I was at a point where I felt like I had found my voice, but I didn't. Only in one place. I found my voice in my business, but then in my personal life, it was still not happening. Like my voice was not heard. And it was like that battle was really hard too. So like now I can look at it and say, like, I don't blame the coach at all. I don't blame the program. Like, it's not like I'm angry about the situation. I just don't think that there is a magic fix. And it is that taking into consideration where you are in that point of time, what's happening in that point of time and why it didn't work then. It's not a negative or a bad thing necessarily. It's just
a transition.
It's a transition and understanding like why wasn't it a good fit at that time? I don't think I would go back and like retake the thing, but now I know differently. And I'm like, even when we would talk about how many videos are you going to create this week? And everybody's like 25, 20, 18. And I was like, 9. Like, that's even too much for me. Cause I
might get one done.
Well, and that was what was hard for me. Cause I was like, I've had success on social media. Like, I know what works for me and I know what I can create because I still want to also be a present mom. I don't want to be producing content all the time. That's not my job. I'm not a content creator. I'm a business owner who also creates content. Like, that's part of what I have to do to market, but it's not my whole job. Right. And I was like, 20, good God, that's a lot of video. I was like,
I don't have the time. I don't have
the time to do that. And it's not going to be the quality that I want to put out either. Cause I'm just going to try and
but don't you find that's also part of the disconnect on some of the coaches is some of the coaches are used to coaching small beginner business people, not people that are really scaling. Right.
Yeah.
Ones that are really scaling, ones that are about their, like I'm in the pain point of, I built something bigger than myself, to which I'm aware and I am totally honoring the fact that I have to hire people. It honestly, I need to have at least 3 or 4 people working for me for some of the things where the vision is going. But at the end of the day, I also need the funds to be able to hire these people. And that's where the pain point is. And so, and it's like, with business coaching, it's like, I love the some of the new programs or some of the things that I'm not aware of because, I didn't go to business school and I don't stay in the loop of how office functionality. So like those things are very beneficial for me, but I'm going to put my own spin on it and make sure that it works for me. Right. So at the same time, it's like, you can teach me how to phrase something to land a client. I don't have a problem with that. The way I say things is different. And if the person's going to work with me, it's in alignment. I'm not going to try and pick up a client that is, I'm saying the verbiage to which I was taught by a coach. And then now that person's hearing that, but then I can't continue it naturally because that's not, you learn the verbiage, right? And it's like, it's like I really see, our MLM people, like I love their compassion and drive and how much energy they put into it. Because like how much energy they put into it versus what the kickback is like that's
I did it.
out.
So yeah, I know.
Right. But my whole philosophy is if you're going to do an MLM to be able to have control over your schedule, if you're going to have control over your schedule, but also be able to try and make something, as long as it's a wash for the products that you're using, like the products you use through the company and and what you're selling, and it's a wash, that's beneficial. Like, extremely beneficial.
That's actually that's how I started. And since everyone was getting the same assets, I was like, well, this is boring. Like, how can I make it mine? Right. And that's where the social media piece came in for me, because I learned how to brand my business using the same assets that everybody else was doing, but I put my own twist on it.
Right.
And so then that's really my approach now is it's like, okay, well, let's take this thing. Let me take instructional design because there is a process for it. But it doesn't mean that your course is going to look a certain way or that it's going to be delivered a certain way. You have to know who your people are. So if you're going to I just did this with the challenge that I was doing this week. And I said, if you're going to have a social media course, let's say, you have to know whether it's someone who's brand new or someone who knows something. Because if they know something, that's a very different course and very different level.
And a lot of times people don't realize that when you're doing a master class, you have to write a lot of it in the middle of it. Like you might have it written out, the outline all out, week 1 through 10, whatever. But sometimes in week 1, something from week 8 comes up. You have to pull week 8, bring it forward, and you might need to splash in a little bit of week 2. And so it's like you get the idea of, I'm going to do these master classes. They're going to be fantastic. But then you forget, oh my goodness, I'm actually going to be rewriting this program every time it's taken because the people in it are going to hit certain parts of need of that information at different times. Like you do the pre-write of the basics, and then you let in, a lot of times it's allowing the flow to happen the way it needs to happen. When you're on the call and then it takes this turn in the conversation, some people divert, we're getting off topic. No, you're getting off topic because you're actually getting to the meat of the situation and you're actually going to get to where it needs to be.
Well, and I don't even talk about what a course is going to look like until we know what we need to talk about. Like what are we going to address? Because that's even like the end of the first week of what I do with clients and in my courses, that's when we talk about different types of courses. But I'm like, you're not going to pick that now. I just want you to be aware of what the options are, because there's so many different options for launching, for how you present your information. It's not a one size fits all. There's no such thing as the perfect model for a course. There is a process, but it's like instructional design is a process, but it's going to look different for every single person because they are going to hit on those moments at different points or struggle with something at a different point. And I think too many people approach something from they look at how they see somebody else doing it, but then they don't realize where their personal stuff is going to come in, because your personal thing is not going to hit at the same place as somebody else who may have seen the success that you want. But there's also a lot of things that you have to get through to get to that point. Like I would never, in my MLM time, I wanted to make money. I did not, but I wanted to make money. And I spent a lot of time doing it, but the thing that I got out of it was not the financial part. It was more personal growth than I ever expected in my life.
Yeah.
And that set me up for then doing my own business, And
Well, and I think
then
you said
changing
it
that.
perfectly. I think you said it exactly perfectly. Is that the MLM was the gateway to realizing that the business was within you the entire time.
Mhm. Yep.
You just hadn't found where your craft was yet. So
Yep.
you had to play with another person's toys
Mhm.
to unveil how you wanted to make it yours and how it could become where your business actually needed to be. And so,
Well, and that's what makes it so fun in business world and entrepreneurial world. Like you could be doing something in the same industry as somebody else, but your experience and your background and you bring something totally different to it. So even if
exactly.
you're in the same industry, I don't think that they're, like I don't get nervous when people are in social media or when they do courses. I'm like, they might not be doing it right, but
There's a skeptic in you. Oh,
like, I know, right? There's a little bit of skeptic in me because it
are
was a lot of the
you?
trainings that I went to. It was like trainings that I went to that I can't stand when there's not a result at the end. Like when there's not something I can take away and implement, because then I'm like, why did I just sit through this? Like you gave me a whole bunch of great information and I love that for me. But now I've got a notebook full of notes and I don't know what to do with it. So
Right.
I mean, that goes back to the, like, a tree is a freaking tree. It's not anything else. It doesn't signify.
Well, see, and I get to the point where even it's like, okay, here was this program and I went through the whole thing, but there were 3 impactful things that shifted and got me started that unlocked something. If I got even just one unlock, I'm golden. Like it was worth every penny. I need to be I need a part of my brain to be unlocked because my brain will do crazy creative things. I don't even understand how my brain works. I'm not even going to think about it because it'll drive me nuts. But it's just, I know that if it gets unlocked, there's so many different possibilities and there's so much fun around the corner. And
that's being open.
That's what a program needs to be.
Yeah, it's being open to that. And like, what are you going to, I think to me, people put too much pressure on it as like, this is the thing. This is the thing that is going to change my business. And I'm going to be a bajillionaire and I'm going to make $50 billion kajillion dollars. And you're like,
right. But in order to do that, you have to be willing to receive. And if you can't even receive help or guidance or anything, you can't get to where you need to go.
No, not at all. You can't. You can't be like, oh, okay. Or like if you're not open to somebody else's perspective. And
right. But we can talk about self-worth and skepticism another day.
100%. I could go on and on about that. I've had quite the journey.
We might have to merge Katy calls BS and the Capital Life and start something else.
Right. I know. I feel like we could have a lot of conversations about things. You'll go podcast number 3. It'll be podcast number 2 for me.
Yeah, there you go. I'm always looking for a buddy. It'll work. Well, thank you for coming on the Capital Life again, where we clearly are going to start another one at some point. Please remind everybody how they can get a hold of you. And
I am usually hanging out the most on Instagram at the Miller Social is probably the best place to find me. I'm usually in stories during the week because I take a break on the weekends, but you can find me there.
Awesome. Well, thank you again. Good friend.
Of course. Thanks for having me again.
Thanks for joining me today on the Capital Life, where we talk about all the things. Join me next Saturday.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on YouTube and Facebook at Capital Health. That's Kapitol Health. Please share with your friends and family. The Capital Life is available on all podcasting platforms except Pandora. Our goal at the Capital Life is to provide a safe place to get information when it comes to your health and wellness, especially when dealing with all of life's phases. Remember to take care of yourself because you're somebody's everything.